For this week's Navigator, we examine the ongoing global energy crisis and why we believe electric metals are one of the best ways to play the trend. We look at vanadium producer and clean energy storage provider Largo's strong Q2 2022 operational results. We also discuss the impact of Michael Pollans Netflix docuseries How to Change Your Mind and cover new developments with psychedelic patents from Mindset Pharma. Let's start with the energy crisis. The Russian-Ukraine war has shown us the vulnerability of Europe and the rest of the world to supply shocks in energy. On Twitter, Joey Politano highlighted the natural gas exports to the US have hit a low, just as Europe plans storage preparations for the winter. As a result, natural gas prices have more than doubled in the last month. German electricity prices have spiked more than 10x in the last 2 years, the very definition of an energy crisis. The onus for this dire situation will be placed on the European taxpayers as their governments subsidize energy to support their citizens. Javier Blas estimates the bailout of this nature could top $200 billion. Foreign exchange markets can clearly smell trouble ahead. The euro's fallen 12% versus the US dollar this year and was briefly below parity last week. The top priority of global governments will be to address the energy crisis by incentivizing all forms of energy production. Energy sector capex as a percentage of operating cash flow is sitting at a multi-decade low, so there's a significant investment needed in the coming decade. Now, we've continued to talk about the value of owning critical green energy metals. A recent report by HIS Market states that the global demand for copper is projected to double by 2035, and the amount of copper needed to meet that demand from this year to 2050 is more than all the copper used from 1900 to 2021. A significant part of this growth is driven by demand for renewables and demand for electric vehicles. We can see a similar rise in demand for lithium. It's gone parabolic. US lithium-ion battery demand is 600% higher than in the last 4 years, putting the market in a structural deficit till 2030. The same supply-demand dynamic is seen in the vanadium market, with demand for green applications and batteries resulting in a material supply deficit by 2030. In our March 3rd report, we highlighted the companies that were best positioned within each respective metal vertical. For copper, Sierra Metals and Hudbay, lithium, SQM and Lithium Americas, and for vanadium, Largo. Largo recently announced second quarter production and sales results, putting supply chain and weather-related issues from Q1 behind them. Their quarterly production of 3,084 tons was above 2021, a 26% improvement over first quarter production. With management reaffirming full-year production guidance of 11,600 to 12,400 tons, they're telling the market that production should meet Q2's strong levels for the rest of 2022. With production turning to normal and expectations of future catalysts like the Largo physical vanadium listing and the ramp-up of Largo's vanadium battery technology, there's a lot to like about Largo's story in 2022 and 23. Moving to psychedelics, psilocybin trended for the first time on Twitter as a result of Michael Pollans' How to Change Your Mind docuseries on Netflix. This led to increased Google searches for psilocybin and related long-tail keywords, revealing a growing public interest in psychedelics. This adds to growing momentum behind eventual acceptance of psychedelics as a foundational treatment for mental health. Mindset Pharma received allowance for a patent application covering its short-duration novel psychedelic medications for treatment of central nervous system disorders. Included within this application are drug candidates that Mindset classifies as Family 2, which are their novel analogs for psilocybin, exhibiting a range of pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic improvements in preclinical studies.